What's up, guys? Welcome to Life Knowledge. My name is Justin Alphabet. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe down below. Stay to the end of the video so you get all the information that you need. Today we're going to be talking about facing your fears. Okay, so you guys want to face your fears and know how specifically to face your fears. So I'm going to go through a couple different fears that you guys might be trying to face, and I will teach you guys how to face those fears. Some of the most common fears for people are public speaking, spiders, snakes, sharks, heights, those kind of things. Things that will potentially hurt you, right? And we often feel this feeling of fear because of pressure or different reasons, right? For example, like if you're up on stage, you fear other people's judgments of you. You fear other people's thoughts and ideas and how they're going to view you, or you may have been publicly humiliated in the past, and you may have had bad experiences. And those bad experiences, that is called PTSD. If you've had a bad experience with a spider, if you've had a bad experience with a snake, if you've had a bad experience with a person, if you've had a bad experience with somebody trying to hurt you or rape you or kill you, or, extreme things like that as well. Like there are many things that we fear because there are things that can hurt us in this world. We live in a world that's dangerous. The world around us is dangerous. People are dangerous. Animals are dangerous. Things are dangerous. Sticks are dangerous. Like there's a lot of dangerous things around us. And our brain is built for two reasons. We have a subconscious part of our mind that has two different parts to it. One, to seek pleasure, and two, to avoid pain. Those are literally only the two functions that our subconscious mind can do. Seek out pleasure and avoid pain. And sometimes when we get these things into our mind, this avoidance of pain will block us from amazing experiences, which is what fear is. It's blocking you from, possibly amazing experiences or things that could potentially hurt you. And like public speaking can be an amazing experience, or it can hurt you. Like your body will think it could hurt you. That public humiliation and shame and guilt and whatever could potentially, hurt you physically. Not physically, mentally and emotionally. Right? So, like with snakes can bite you and potentially kill you and hurt you physically. Heights can potentially hurt you and kill you physically. Different sharks can potentially hurt you and kill you physically. But there's a lot of different things that can hurt you and kill you physically, but there's also a lot of things that cannot. If you think about the size of a person versus a spider, a person can kill a spider that's, this big. A person can kill a spider that's this big. We are, this big, right? Like we are much larger than the animal or spider that's trying to kill us typically. But people are still afraid because of what either they can see this, do to other people or things like that. I used to be really afraid of sharks because I thought that, while you're swimming, you don't really have as much control over your body as when you do on land. You can't see them coming below you. You don't know what direction they're going to come from as a shark. Like a shark could come from any direction because the ocean is vast and they're, dynamic. Like they can move through the water much quicker and faster. And there's a 360 degree in which a shark could attack you, right? So I used to be really afraid of that, but then I found out some interesting information about sharks. There are more deaths in the United States or in the world from pigs than there are from sharks. Can you believe that? So more people die per year from pigs, like the animal pigs, than they do from sharks. And so that kind of gave me a little bit of a peace of mind. I was like, wow. People aren't dying out here left and right from sharks, like people aren't dying out here as much as I thought they were from sharks than they are from, pigs. And what people really should be working out is dying from food and obesity and heart disease, right? That's the number one killer of people in the US and in the world. And so I realized that there's not as much of a high chance of me dying from a shark as I thought. Um, so it kind of lowered my levels of fear. And also, like, so one, research will lower your levels of fear, and knowledge will help lower your levels of fear. But also, experience will lower your levels of fear. The more that I've been in the ocean, the more I realized, oh, this ocean is massive. There's no way that a shark can be in every square foot of this vast ocean. The ocean is the biggest part of the world. Like, there's more water per capita versus land on the earth. And so that means that there's no way that a shark can fill up every single location of water on the earth. And so my fears started to dissipate, right? I wasn't as afraid because, I've been in the water more. I saw that it was safe. I saw that, other people have been in the water for years and years, and they had never even seen a shark or never had a close encounter or things like that, right? Or there's this lady called Ocean Ramsey, I think her name is, but she dives with sharks. There are people who specifically seek out and try to dive with sharks. And they have these, things that they can do, like, for example, a shark, when it's flipped over, it will become completely docile. When a fish is upside down, it kind of goes into this sleep mode. So all you have to do is just flip a shark over and it can't hurt you, right? So that's one way you can't die from a shark. Also, you can punch it in the gills. Most sharks don't even attack humans. They don't try to attack humans. The only reason why sharks attack humans is, one, because you're bleeding, or two, because you are looking like a seal or something like that, right? So, or a different fish, right? So the goal here is don't look like a fish and don't bleed, right? Those are the only two things that will pretty much make a shark attack you. So get out of the water if you have a cut on your foot, or you're bleeding or whatever. Make sure you check yourself, and also be aware, right? Don't look like a fish and don't flail around, because sharks will see that something is flailing around and, they'll attack because they see that this fish is in distress. Most people believe that sharks are like killers, like they'll hunt you down like a lion would, but they're not. Sharks are actually trash fish, where they will eat dead animals and things like that. Like they're seeking out garbage, right? Essentially in the ocean, the dead things of the ocean, and they're the trash fish of the ocean. So they kind of will eat the bodies of dead fish and dead things and stuff like that, right? So they're not always seeking out living organisms, right? They're not always doing that, and they've been trained to seek out fish. So don't look like a fish. So essentially what I'm saying here is that knowledge about fish and sharks specifically is going to protect you or me. And also the doing of it, right? Like seeking out experiences where you face your fears. And you might be averse to that, but let me explain something to you. So with PTSD, like in rape victims or people who've had traumatic experiences with humans, bad experiences, they have done some studies on it, and the only way that you can overcome your PTSD or your fear of people is to become stronger, is to face other people. And so, for example, let's say someone was hurt by a human or something like that, the only way that you can overcome that is to become stronger. Go to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, go become a boxer, go become a fighter, go to the gym, right? Those things, leveling yourself up, becoming stronger than your assailant or your opponent or the person who hurt you, is the only way that you can get over that PTSD. You have to face the fear. You have to be able to face that person and kill them, essentially. Obviously, don't kill anybody, but the point here being is that you have to be able to. You have to face your bullies, face your opponent, face your enemies, face your betrayer, face the cheater, face the person who hurt you, right? If you're not able to do that, you won't be able to grow in life, and you won't be able to ever get over that fear. So, learn about what you're supposed to do and then do it. Go learn Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Go learn how to box, and then do it. Um, because that is the only thing that can save you from fear. The only way you can get over your fear of heights is getting closer to the edge safely. Obviously, have a harness, have a metal bar in front of you, but you have to feel that fear. And some people call it facing your demons. Some people call it different things. Facing your dark side, facing your fears, facing your opponent. All of it is something that's uncomfortable. But you have to get to a point where you can face that fear, face that opponent, face that negative feeling, and be able to feel that feeling and do what you need to do anyways, or else you'll be crippled. If, like for example, like let's say you're afraid of fire, right? If your house was set on fire as a kid and you were burned or something like that, and you're afraid of fire and you're never able to, face that fear, what happens if your house is set on fire again or something like that, or you're caught in a forest fire in the future and there's no way out, but you have to face that fear, right? You have to be able to prepare for that, and the only way that you can get over that fear is through preparation. Learning like how to make sure your house is safe, how to make sure you don't get caught in a forest fire and things of that nature, right? But if you never work on not being burned in the future again, you have the potential possibility of being burned in the future. And there are some things in life we can't avoid, right? We can't avoid people forever. We can't avoid spiders. We can't avoid snakes. We can't avoid fire. There are things in life that they will come to you, right? Like they're going to hurt you if you're not prepared. A spider doesn't have to have permission to come into your room. A snake doesn't have to have permission to come, out in nature or go wherever it wants, right? So if you're not prepared, you'll be unprepared and you may get hurt. And so preparation and doing the right thing, right? If there's a snake and you step on a snake and it bites you, you have to know what to do. Put a tourniquet above your leg if it's a venomous snake, right? Make sure that the venom doesn't reach your heart, so that you, but the other part of fear is that you also can't do the opposite. You can't never go out into nature or never go outside because of the fear of snakes, because snakes are everywhere, right? They're all over the world, and you can't just not get your dreams. You can't just not do what you want to do in life and let fear hold you back from your other dreams because there's just snakes in the world or spiders in the world, right? You have to do what you want to do anyways, and regardless of that fear, right? So the only way that you can do that is through knowledge and doing. You have to do something about it. You have to learn how to kill a spider. You have to kill some spiders or relocate some spiders to actually understand that they're not going to hurt you, right? That you can do it. And most spiders you're not their target. The flies are their target. So if flies should annoy you more, and so you should keep some spiders around. Let the spider back outside, right? Like let them go. Let them do their job. That's their job, right? Their job is to kill off the flies because the flies are crazy populous. The fly's job is to eat things that we don't love. The job of the spider is to eat the flies because they got to keep them in check. We got an ecosystem here, right? So, and to be honest with you, spiders are a food in some countries, right? Like some people eat spider, some people eat snakes, some people eat, these things and whatever. You obviously don't have to go that far, but imagine if you were able to eat a spider and not be afraid. That's kind of like the end goal, right? Like that's the peak. I've never eaten a spider, I don't think, but that's the peak of facing your fears, right? And so get to a point, right, where you can touch a spider, where you can smash a spider, where you're not afraid of a spider, etc., right? My rule is that if a spider is in my house, it's free game. I can kill it if I want to or not. If it's outside, I leave it alone, typically. Because the outside is his home, the inside of my home is my home, right? So anyways, and with heights, I was going to mention about heights too. A lot of people are afraid of heights. The way that you face your fear with heights is you you go closer to the edge, right? You have to feel that feeling of being afraid and just relax and take deep breaths and kind of just ease into it and be there with that feeling and feel the feeling of fear, but just stay there instead of walking away from the edge, right? Because I want you to think about something. The feeling of fear is temporary. Once you get past that feeling of fear, once you're in a safe zone or whatever, that feeling of fear disappears, right? It's gone. So imagine if like that feeling of fear was gone and you're hanging off the side of a cliff with a rope attached to rock climbing, right? That's possible. All you have to do is, trust the rope, trust the metal bar in front of you by the cliff or whatever, right? Because if you think about it, there are things outside of our control, right? There are earthquakes that happen or whatever. There are things that, just we can't control completely. If you do all you can to control a safe situation with rock climbing, you can have an amazing experience. You can have a fun time. You can face your fears. You can jump out of a plane and not be afraid of heights and things like that because you know that you're safe. You know that you're with another person if you're doing a tandem jump on a skydiving expedition. And you have 2 parachutes. You have, the first parachute, and that's, your first safety net, and the second parachute, that's your second safety net. You have things in place to allow you to face your fears. When you're rock climbing, you have a rope, you have your arms and your legs, you have your agility, right? Those are the things that are going to keep you safe. And you need to trust that you are capable and you're able to do that. And when I was doing that, when I first started rock climbing, I was afraid. I was scared. I was scared that I would fall and get hurt. And the higher you go, the worse it feels. But also, I started to realize that as I pushed forward, as I forced myself to get up on top of the cliff, I got less afraid. I realized that the longer that I was there, the less afraid I was. The more I trusted the rope, the more I trusted myself to climb up this rock, right? And so the more that you face the fear, the more that you do the thing that you're afraid of, the less you will fear it, because fear is just in our mind. It's not real. It's an imagination. It's a chemical that's supposed to protect us. It's an alarm. It's something that's saying like, hey, be careful of this cliff edge. You could get hurt. It's just a signal saying this could potentially hurt you. It's not actually going to hurt you unless you allow it to hurt you. So you need to be careful, obviously, but and honor your signals, right? Like if something is going to hurt you legitimately, be careful and walk away or do what you got to do, right? But on the flip side of that, if you're afraid of something, you need to learn the knowledge, learn how to rock climb and face that fear. Learn how to, shark dive and face that fear. Learn how to kill spiders and face that fear. Learn how to kill snakes in a safe way and face that fear, or relocate them or whatever, relocate spiders and such. So the point being is that facing your fears is not as difficult as it needs to be. All you have to do is do the research, figure out what you need to do, and face it. That's how you face it. So learn how to do it and do it, and you will be less afraid. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and comment them below. Thank you guys for watching. Have the day you deserve. Let's level up, and I'll see you in the next one.